For almost my whole life, I struggled with low testosterone. It was something which was holding me back, something which would lead to giving me anxiety. I would sometimes get nervous about going outside. I couldn't build muscle quick enough. It was difficult to build muscle. And I felt like I lacked confidence in some areas. After I really discovered what testosterone was, how it affects your brain, and how it affects your body, I really started to implement some of these habits I'm going to speak to you about today. And I felt like this really leveled me up. Not only was I able to produce more muscle a lot quicker and get results faster in the gym, but also just the way that you feel throughout the day and the way that your brain operates just improves so much when you have higher testosterone. It feels like you're superhuman once you've boosted your testosterone up to a certain extent. If you've got low testosterone, you're not going to feel confident. You're going to get mental health problems like anxiety, which is just pretty standard if you don't have high testosterone. However, once you've actually boosted this, once you've actually implemented some of these habits, and you're operating how you should be as a human being, then what's going to happen is you're going to feel a lot more confident. You're going to be able to build muscle a lot faster, and it's really going to change how you see yourself. So the first way that I started to boost my testosterone was by paying attention to my diet. So this is something which is really important. When you go shopping, when you go to the supermarket, you should only be purchasing food items that are single ingredient meals. So this means things like potato, things like chicken, vegetables, steak. All of these things just have one ingredient in them. Now this is so important because if you keep on getting meals which have multiple ingredients in them, a lot of times there's added preservatives or people have just added in weird chemicals to your food. And all of these things have been proven to shatter your testosterone and mess up your hormones. So when you go shopping, you should really make sure that you're only ever looking out for meals that are organic. That's one word that you should be looking out for. You should be looking out for the word organic. And the only kind of ingredients you should be buying are ingredients where you know exactly what's inside them, which is single ingredient meals. Some other foods that you should completely avoid are things like seed oils and vegetable oils. You should only really be cooking your food with butter and olive oil. These are two things which have been proven to help boost testosterone. If you can get a lot of healthy butter in you, then this is really going to help you as well. You should also only really be eating meat, vegetables, fruit, and some dairy like eggs. You can also add in nuts, which are going to help you as well. However, it's better to just simplify your diet, so make sure you know exactly what you're eating, instead of adding in all these foods which have preservatives in them where you don't know what's inside them. If you actually have a look at some of these foods that have all these added ingredients in them and actually look at the ingredients, a lot of times you're just not even going to have any idea of what they are. A lot of them are just weird chemicals which have been made in a lab, which are going to shatter your testosterone, and you don't even know what they are. So these are things that you really should be avoiding. Some other food which I recommend avoiding is things like alcohol as well. Alcohol has been proven to shatter your testosterone, and it's also really important that you pay close attention to your sugar intake. Sugar has also been directly linked to destroying your dopamine and your testosterone. So if you're eating foods that are high in sugar, you're just going to put on more fat more easily. Your ability to put on muscle is going to decrease. The way you feel and how confident you are is also going to decrease massively. So it's really important that you pay attention to your sugar intake as well. This is one of the biggest killers of testosterone. The next thing that I've done, which has helped me boost my testosterone massively, is just to lift heavy weights. So when you're in the gym, I don't really tend to do too many isolation exercises. I think it's so much more beneficial if you do compounding exercises. These are things like squats, bent over rows, deadlifts, bench press. These are exercises which are going to work multiple muscles at once. And I feel like when you're doing these exercises, you can really load up and go heavy. And because they're hitting so many different muscles at once, this is really what's going to create that compounding release from your muscles, which is therefore going to produce testosterone quicker and more effectively. One of the major ways you can do this is by squatting heavy. So instead of doing 10 to 12 reps, you could change it up and you could do 5 by 5. You could do 5 reps and 5 sets and just increase the weight just a little bit, just so that you're not going to injure yourself, but just so that you get that extra little more piece of weight on the equipment, which is really going to help boost your testosterone. One of the other ways of how to really skyrocket my testosterone is just paying attention to how much sunlight you're getting. So I want you to think back to before modernity, when humans used to spend the whole day outside. What we would do is we would literally wake up, we would just go outside, and we would spend the whole day in the sun. This is so important to get excessive amounts of sunlight on your skin, especially if you can do this in the morning. It's going to benefit you as well. However, just get as much sunlight as you possibly can. So even if you work in a job, this could be an hour walk at lunchtime where you go outside, you get some sun. Or if you can, in the morning when you wake up, you should just be making a beeline out for sunlight to just get as much sun on your skin as possible. So an increase in vitamin D has been proven that this is really going to help boost your testosterone, really help improve you in a lot of these areas. It also helps with your brain functioning and whatnot, but specifically for testosterone, a vitamin D deficiency is going to really cause low test. And this is something which a lot of modern day people struggle with. So if you can, in the morning, even if it's overcast, just go outside and make your best effort where you can to get as much sun as possible, which is going to help skyrocket your test. So one of the other most important things I've done to help increase my test is to just focus on my sleep. So this is something which is avoided by so many people. A lot of people don't actually pay attention to how much they're sleeping. You should really be getting between, they say 8 hours a day, but if you can get more like 10 hours a day, this is going to be hugely beneficial. This is because testosterone is actually built throughout your body when you're sleeping. So if you don't prioritize your sleep and you spend less time getting REM sleep and getting the level of sleep that you need to actually build testosterone so your body can function, then this is really going to help stunt your testosterone growth. And you're not going to be able to boost your test to the next level. So one thing which I recommend doing is actually set aside 10 to 11 hours each night for your sleep. 1 hour before you get into bed, you should turn all your screens off to help maximize your sleep. Because if you have blue light in your eyes, that's really going to stop you from sleeping. It's been proven that it shuts off your melatonin receptors. And then, so after you've done that, just spend an hour, just get into bed, brush your teeth and whatnot beforehand, and then just read a fiction and fantasy book. This is what I normally do. And this just helps me kind of wind down for the day and get into bed and sleep. Now, one thing which most of you might not be able to do, which is going to be hugely beneficial, is to wake up without an alarm clock. If you can manage to do this, your body is going to wake up once it's had enough sleep. If you're waking up on an alarm, you're actually setting yourself short and your body hasn't rested enough as it needs to, and it hasn't taken the time to produce the testosterone to the level that it could do. So if you're setting aside 10 hours and you're going to bed a little bit earlier in the afternoon, and you're getting off your screen time, you're lying in bed a little earlier, you're reading your book, and you're getting into bed the same time every day, this is really going to help boost your testosterone. And if you can help it, don't wake up to an alarm clock and just sleep in until you're fully rested, and then when you wake up, it'll be once your body's actually had enough sleep that it needs to function effectively during the day. This is really going to help boost your test. The last one on this list is supplements. So these are kind of non-essential. However, if you do have good supplements, they are just going to help boost you to the next level. So some of the supplements that you can use, which have some of the biggest impact, is taking vitamin D supplements. You can generally take between 4,000 and 10,000 IU of vitamin D per day. Make sure this is vitamin D3 supplements. So obviously getting sunlight's going to help, but if you can, you may as well also take vitamin D as well. This is just going to help boost your testosterone even more and get you to that next level. In addition to that, you should take, if you can find it, fermented cod liver oil and fish oils. So those are the 3 supplements which I use. Those are really beneficial. All of them help reduce testosterone function and production in your body, and they're going to really help benefit you. If you want, you could also add in zinc and magnesium. These are 2 more supplements which are really beneficial. They've had proven studies to help boost testosterone as well. However, if you just want to take a few supplements, just take vitamin D, fermented cod liver oil, and fish oils. The very final point I want to make is to decrease the amount of microplastics that you're getting into your body. So this can be done by, instead of drinking out of a plastic water bottle, which is just going to leak chemicals into your water, just get a stainless steel drink bottle and just drink from that. If you can, when you're going shopping, try and find an organic supermarket where they actually pack a lot of the food. You'll see they pack some of the food in paper bags instead of plastic bags. This is really going to help because if you have plastic bags, it's just going to leak chemicals into your food. Obviously, sometimes you can't help it and whatnot, but where you can, just pay attention to plastic and see where you can avoid it. So it could also be using meal prep containers, which are made of glass or which are made of silicone and which aren't plastic meal prep containers. Make sure you never ever microwave plastic. I know I might say it's microwavable safe, however, a lot of times this actually isn't true. A lot of times they actually replace BPA and they put in some even worse weird chemicals for you instead, because it's been proven that BPA is bad for you. However, they take out BPA and they advertise plastic as BPA free, but actually they've actually put in additional weird chemicals, which actually makes it even worse for you. So if you can avoid plastics, and in addition to that, just some chemicals as well, which are in a lot of people's drinking water. So if you've got tap water at home and you're not in a tank system, it's very likely that you've got fluoride and chloride and some heavy metals like lead in your water. All of these have been proven to shatter testosterone. So if you want to help boost your testosterone even further, get to the next level, try and look at buying a reverse osmosis water filter. Now a lot of these are quite expensive, they do cost around $500. However, I do still think that this is something which is worthwhile saving up for because it's going to help benefit your health and it's going to help boost your testosterone to that next level. This is also the same in your shower water. If you can, I'd recommend buying a shower head filter. And what this is going to do is it's just going to clear out some of these chemicals in your shower water, make your shower water more clean and more pure so that it doesn't have these chemicals in it which go into your skin and obviously decrease your testosterone.